Imagine a city gripped not by war, famine, or fire, but by an invisible force compelling its citizens to dance until they collapse. In the summer of 1518, this nightmare became reality in Strasbourg, France. But was it a divine curse, a mass poisoning, or something even stranger? Welcome to Longtail Lore. The story begins not in 1518, but centuries earlier, with whispers of similar outbreaks echoing across medieval Europe. From the 14th century onward, reports surface of Choreomania, dancing manias that seized entire communities. People danced uncontrollably, often in the streets, driven by an unseen force. Some believe they were cursed by Saint Vitus, a figure ironically invoked to prevent such afflictions. These episodes flared up during times of immense stress, famine, plague, and the ever-present threat of war. Were these isolated incidents, or pieces of a larger, more unsettling puzzle? Strasbourg in 1518 was a city primed for disaster. Years of failed harvests had left the population malnourished and vulnerable. Disease, in the form of syphilis and smallpox, ran rampant. Economic inequality festered between the wealthy elite and the struggling labourers. The very foundations of their world felt unstable as the winds of the Protestant Reformation began to blow. Was this simply a case of bad luck piling upon bad luck? Or did this confluence of crises create the perfect conditions for something truly bizarre to erupt? On July 14, 1518, a woman named Frau Troffea stepped into the street and began to dance. But this was no joyful folk dance. Eyewitnesses described her movements as erratic, convulsive, and utterly joyless. There was no music, no celebration, just Frau Troffea, lost in a frantic, solitary dance. For 6 days she continued, barely pausing for food or sleep, seemingly oblivious to the world around her. Then, something extraordinary happened. Others joined her. Within a week, dozens were dancing alongside Frau Troffea. By August, the number had swelled to an estimated 400 people. The city was in chaos. People flailed their arms, cried out incoherently, and collapsed from exhaustion, only to rise and dance again. The authorities, baffled and desperate, consulted doctors who, in a stroke of misguided medical wisdom, declared the cause to be overheated blood. Their prescription? More dancing. They erected a stage, hired musicians, and essentially encouraged the mania, inadvertently pouring fuel on the fire. But this attempt to control the chaos, to rationalize the irrational, only deepened the mystery. Later accounts spoke of dozens of deaths per day, the dancers succumbing to heart attacks, strokes, and sheer exhaustion. While the historical record offers conflicting evidence, the suffering was undeniable. The dancers' feet were swollen and bleeding, their clothes soaked in sweat, their bodies ravaged by dehydration and malnourishment. What could possibly drive so many people to dance themselves to the point of collapse? Numerous theories have been proposed to explain the dancing plague. One of the most enduring focuses on a fungus called ergot, which can contaminate rye grain. Ergot poisoning or ergotism can cause hallucinations, convulsions, and even gangrene. Indeed, outbreaks of ergotism, known as St. Anthony's fire, ravaged Europe during the Middle Ages. Yet the symptoms of ergotism don't perfectly align with the prolonged dancing described in Strasbourg. While ergotism can cause seizures, it doesn't typically induce days-long episodes of continuous, frenzied dancing. Therefore, could ergot poisoning be only a contributing factor and not the sole cause? Other medical explanations have been offered, including epilepsy and Sydenham's chorea, a neurological disorder characterized by involuntary movements. But these conditions typically affect individuals, not large groups. This raises a fundamental issue with purely medical explanations. The dancing plague was a mass phenomenon, a collective experience. Modern psychologists lean towards an explanation called mass psychogenic illness, or MPI. MPI suggests that extreme stress can manifest as physical symptoms within a group. In Strasbourg, a population already suffering from famine, disease, and existential fear may have been particularly vulnerable to this phenomenon. The sight of Frau Troffea's strange dance, interpreted through the lens of religious superstition, might have triggered a psychological contagion, spreading through mimicry and fear. But this leaves another question. Why dancing? Why not some other physical manifestation of stress? Medieval Europe possessed a rich framework of religious beliefs and cultural practices. The figure of Saint Vitus, ironically, played a crucial role. He was believed to punish sinners with compulsive dancing. This created a cultural script for the afflicted. Tormented souls, already primed by sermons and folklore, might have interpreted physical or emotional distress as a sign of Saint Vitus's curse, triggering a descent into hysterical compliance with the expected punishment. Could the dancers really have danced because, on some level, they believed they were supposed to do so? Strasbourg's city council, initially perplexed, made matters worse by encouraging the dancing. It wasn't until they implemented a ban on music and public gatherings and sent the dancers to the shrine of Saint Vitus in Saverne that the mania began to subside. There, priests performed exorcisms and anointed the dancers' feet with holy oil. Was that the cure? It seemed to work and took the dancers out of their trance. But was it the religious aspect? Or did the priests tap into some subconscious psychological effect? All we can do is speculate. The dancing plague of 1518 remains an enigma, a chilling reminder of the fragility of the human mind and the power of collective belief. Was it a medical mystery, a psychological breakdown, or a combination of factors fueled by the anxieties of a society on the brink? Perhaps the true answer lies not in a single cause, but in the complex interplay of biology, psychology, and culture. Whatever the explanation, the dancers of Strasbourg are a testament to the enduring mysteries of the past and the ever-present potential for the extraordinary to erupt in the midst of the ordinary. What do you think caused the dancing plague of 1518? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed learning about this topic, please consider liking and subscribing for more intriguing history stories. Thanks for watching.